Now I want you all to consider just what this project is doing to this city and will do. Because personally, I don't like it, and I'm ready to leave. I've been here for 21 years. I've gotten out of my house in the middle of the night to take care of countless asthmatics, only to see the city quote me, those people either do not exist or do not matter. When I can tell you they do exist and they do matter, and will anyone who's ever used an inhaler, a nebulizer, or had any type of reactive airway disease, please let the council know that right now.
Yes.
Thank you. The fact that you can have IDEM come in here and tell you you can do this does not mean that you should. It is my understanding that the citizens own this, which is why I think you need to listen to the citizen commentary no matter how long or arduous it is.
Particulate matter, PM 2.5. The latter is unfilterable pollutant so small it can lodge deep in the lungs, bloodstreams, and internal organs, to which the American Cancer Society studies demonstrate there is no safe level of exposure. Friends and neighbors, we cannot put control technology on this that will capture those smallest particulate matter.
Reverend Prelo, I ask that you...
And sir, I respect my neighbors and citizens enough to look them in the eye when I speak.
To us, not
This is my freedom of speech. That flag right behind you gives me freedom to speak.
Twisted Oak and a Freudian slip, while denying dioxins, mentioned municipal solid waste, garbage, as a fuel. Biomass fuel often changes. Jasper expressed interest in the burning of battlefield waste, which EPA's AP 42 manual indicates includes hazardous material. So it must be asked, will the city of Jasper cause or allow solid waste or garbage to be burned in the power plant? Will it guarantee in a written contract with Jasper citizens that it will not allow the burning of such waste at the power plant? If not, why not?
Will one public forum be enough? Are we going to be limited again at this public forum? Are we going to be able to hear the answers to our questions? Are we going to be able to have a discussion? And again, I ask you, what's the rush? If we need to have more than one evening to address these concerns, then that's what we should have. And I ask, will the concerned voters be heard? Thank you.
I thank you, gentlemen, for letting me speak tonight, and I urge you to think about one thing. Think about the children, present and future, that will not have a choice about the quality of air they breathe, or whether or not they have asthma or other respiratory-related disease. You will make the decision for them. Please make the right decision. Thank you.
Jasper Municipal Utility Board believes either A, there will be no pollution from this biomass fuel power plant or its crop production and transportation, which is factually indisputably false. Or they believe B, the volume of pollution is not great enough to warrant health concerns, and at best, that is highly, highly debatable. Or the board believes C, potential profits from the project trump potential damage to citizens' health, which is deplorable. You are elected to represent the people, to do what's best for the people of this city. The people are speaking. The JMU board may soon be asking you too to believe in that which is either indisputably false, highly, highly debatable, or downright deplorable. Gentlemen, when called to vote, please vote against biomass in Jasper. Send the JMU board back to its drawing board in search of truly green, renewable, zero emissions energy solutions.
Jasper, Indiana. This is not one person's legacy. This is a plan for the long run for your town, my town, and their town. It's a plan for the future. We have a gem of a town that needs to shine into the future. a town of fine schools, churches, a regional hospital envied by all, staffed with true professionals who care about our health, and we have great, hard-working people with values and principles. By the way, Dr. Kryline secured even more doctors' signatures who attest this would be unhealthy, based on true facts and not hypothetical studies. Yet, you have yet to secure one doctor who will go on record as saying, this is okay, this won't hurt. I remember watching a Western movie one time when this guy looked down, he had a great big gun, and he looked at the other person, he said, I believe we've got you covered. And I believe we do there, folks.
And if it's going to affect people in a negative way, and you're hearing it over and over and over again from people, then I ask you to consider that and not close your eyes and just say, oh, okay, I'm hearing all these people that I'm doodling here. Okay, when are they going to get over? I want you to take what they have to say to heart. They have taken their time, their energy, their money, and also their reputations. I would not take what the doctor said lightly. She has been accosted and treated poorly, and she is a public servant who takes care of children. You've got to be kidding me. That is not right. We need to support and protect those who are protecting our children, for God's sakes. I urge you to think this thing through, because I don't want to have to come back here in 2 years to each and every one of you and say, I told you so. I told you so. They took their money and they left you hanging. And how are you?
It's Dr. Christopher Scipione. My wife and I moved here about 1.5 years ago. Ultimately, it was the nature of this small town that attracted us down here. I'm also a chemical engineer as well, practiced for several years before I went into medicine. Just have a few thoughts, I'll make it very brief. Ultimately, biomass plants pollute. They pollute the air. It is a certainty that the microparticulate that they emit cannot be filtered. Because it's so small, it stays airborne for prolonged periods of time. When inhaled, the lungs cannot filter this tiny microparticulate, less than 2.5. When inhaled, it goes deep into the lungs, bypasses all the airways, the cilia, the mucus, gets down into the alveoli of the lungs. And there it sits for prolonged periods of time, sometimes years. Some of it gets absorbed into the bloodstream. And there's no ambiguity from a medical perspective that this causes lung disease, this causes upper respiratory disease, and the systemic effects from that gets into the circulation is also not well defined. Ultimately, the very concept of putting a biomass plant in the middle of this town is fundamentally flawed to me in many ways.
I'm a mother of 4 children. I teach my children that you need to be trustworthy and you need to be honest. And so tonight, I'm going to kind of reiterate what Dr. Kryline asked. And I want to ask, will each of you, and I wish our mayor was here, but he can answer at a later time. Will each of you publicly pledge tonight and be willing to put into writing that you and your families will in no way, now or in the future, financially benefit from the operation of this facility, or that you will serve on the Jasper Clean Energy Board? Can you give me a yes or no about that?
In November, you have an election coming up. Why don't you just make a referendum, have the referendum go through, and let the people decide in November. That there is democracy, and I don't think that you want this on your conscience. And I think you can let this happen with letting the people decide. It's simple. It's very simple. Let the people decide.